Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Saiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudari Nastaprayesho Abhaddesho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So, Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhagavate Naistiki. So, welcome to Bhagavat Purana. So, we are reading from Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse number 18, 19. So, in the last session, we saw that how Bharata Maharaj, how this country has got this name. The 17th verse it is stated that Tesam va Bharato Jesto Narayana Parayanaha Vikyatam Varsham Etad Yennamna Bharatam Adbhutam, wonderful. So, one of the 100 sons of Lord Rishabhadev, the eldest, was completely devoted to Lord Narayana, Bharata Maharaj. It is because of Bharata's fame that this planet is now celebrated as the great Bharata Varsha. 18th verse. Sa bhukta bhogan tyaktve mam nirgatas tapasa harim upasinas tatpadavim lebe vai janma bistribi. King Bharata rejected this material world, considering all types of material pleasure temporary and useless. Leaving his beautiful young wife and family, he worshipped Lord Hari by severe austerities and attained the abode of the Lord after 3 lifetimes. The complete narration of 3 lives of Bharata as a king, as a deer, and as an exalted Paramahamsa devotee of the Lord is given in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 19. Tesham navadvipa patayosya samantataham karma tantra pranetara ekastir Dvijatayah. 9 of the remaining sons of Rishabhadev became the rulers of the 9 islands of Bharatavarsha, and they exercised complete sovereignty over this planet. 81 sons became twice born Brahmanas and helped initiate the Vedic path of fruitive sacrifices. The 9 Dvipas or islands ruled by 9 sons of Rishabhadev are the 9 Varshas of Jambu Dvipa, namely Bharata, Kinnara, Hari, Kuru, Hiranmaya, Ramyaka, Ilavrata, Bhadrasva, and Ketumala. Verse number 20-21. Navabhavan Mahabhaga Munayo hi Artha Samsina Shramana Vatarashana Atmavidya Vishardaha Kavir Havir Antarikshaha Prabuddha Pipalyanaha Avirhotrota Drumilas Chamasa Karabajanaha. So we have seen that how Bharata Maharaj was very intimate to Lord Hari and Narayana, and though he was very intimate, he has developed intimate relationship with Narayana or Hari. So, but still, for such a great devotee and personalities like Bharata Maharaj also may stumble in their spiritual life because of raga dvesha. So, because of raga means attachment, dvesha means anger. So, raga dvesha and enviousness. So, we should analyze, or we should discriminate that what are the best things which can be favorable to Krishna consciousness, which are favorable to our devotional service, and what are the things which are not favorable to Krishna consciousness. Anukulyena Krishna Silanam. So, Krishna Silanam. So, anything which is favorable to Krishna consciousness, which is favorable to devotion service, we must accept it and we must take up that. And anything which is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness, we should reject that, as our Acharya Srila Rupa Goswami says. So there are 64 limbs of the body, 64 limbs of devotion service, as mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. Among that, 5 Bhakti Angas are very, very important. Shri Vigraharadhana, and chanting the holy names of the Lord, worshipping the Lord, and then reading scriptures like Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, what we are doing now, and also worshipping Tulsi Maharani and visiting and doing Dhamma Seva. So going for yatras in different places like Navadip, Vrindavan, Ayodhya, Kashi, and Puri Jagannath, Dwaraka, Mathura. So go and visit those places and enlighten yourself by taking the association of great sadhus, like how the rishis of Naimisharanya took the association of Sutta Goswami. So like that we have to take association from them, and also accepting dining only prasadam, accepting only Lord's divine leftovers, that is uttishta. So these are the very 5 important essential factors which are very favorable to devotion service. And also following the 4 regulative principles, which also keeps us always pure in our devotion service. So, as Bharata Maharaj was the son of the Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev is nothing but is none other than the incarnation of Lord Narayana or Vasudeva. Is none other than the incarnation of Lord Vasudeva. So, being a son of Lord Rishabhadev, Bharata Maharaj got stumbled in his bhakti yoga. The reason because he was very great ardent devotee of the Lord Hari, but one fine day he showed compassion towards a baby deer. When the mother deer was running around the ocean, which was pregnant, the she deer. So while running, she delivered that baby deer and left the deer and went off. So Bharata Maharaj was witnessing these incidents, and by showing compassion towards the baby deer, he took the baby deer and brought it to his ashram, and he started taking care of that deer, and slowly, gradually, he developed attachment towards the baby deer, and his attachment become so so inseparable. He was not able to leave the deer anywhere else. So by concentrating and replenishing, contemplating on the baby deer, he slowly stopped doing his sadhana, and he was forced to, he left no time to do any devotional service because of taking care of that baby deer. So we should discriminate the things. What are the things we have to what have to be done, and what are the things not to be done while doing our sadhana in our spiritual um, in the spiritual activities. So slowly he became very reckless towards Lord Hari, and started worrying about baby deer. And the baby deer, once what happened, it got he baby deer got lost the place, lost the way, and it just went off from the Bharata Maharaj's ashram. And the Bharata Maharaj started searching for that baby deer. Searching. He was not able to get the baby deer, and he started lamenting because of that baby deer. And he also started thinking of the plight of a deer, because he was thinking any lion may eat the deer, and that the baby deer will have to leave the body. So he was so much affectionate towards the deer. And when the things went wrong, and the Bharata Maharaj could not find the baby deer, and his mind was so much disturbed. His mind was so much wavering, and he was always lamenting towards that baby deer. So having that consciousness, deer consciousness, he became very sick because he was not able to get the deer back. So at that time he was about to leave the body. So at that time when he was leaving the body, he was only concentrating on the baby deer itself. So as Gita says, whoever leaves the body at the time of death, whoever leaves the body, so the same consciousness or the same birth he will take. So antakalecha smaran narayana, antakalecha mamaiva smaran muktva kalevaram. Kalevaram means at the time of death, whatever consciousness you have, whatever nature you have, the same nature we will attain. But Krishna says, if you smaran about me, if you remember about me, you will get my nature, Krishna says. Or if you remember about some other things, you will get other nature. Like once when Devatas were fighting with Asuras, Asuras were able to defeat the Devatas. So Devatas were unable to fight with the demons. That time the Devatas took the shelter of the great powerful king. I forgot his name. So one powerful king was there. Katwanga Maharaj, his name. Thank you, Krishna. Katwanga Maharaj. So they took the shelter of Katwanga Maharaj, and Katwanga Maharaj was very powerful warrior. So they invited him, and they took the help of Katwanga Maharaj, and Katwanga Maharaj was able to defeat the demons very easily. And after defeating them after the war, the Devatas were very happy, and Devatas were expressing their gratitude, and they were expressing their favorable attitude, and they were expressing their pleasure. So they were immensely thanking Katwanga Maharaj, and they voluntarily asked Katwanga Maharaj what sort of a benediction you want. And Katwanga Maharaj was a very great devotee, also was a very great Vaishnava. So immediately he said, I don't want anything, any benediction, but by the force of Devatas. So he wanted to ask one benediction, and Devatas were ready to give that, ready to give any benediction to Katwanga Maharaj. And Katwanga Maharaj asked, please tell me, my dear Devatas, next moment what is going to happen to me. So then they revealed the secret that you are going to leave the body. So then the Katwanga Maharaj said, immediately I want to take the shelter of Hari, Hari, Hari. Then they made him to, they facilitated Katwanga Maharaj to take the shelter of Hari, and he took the shelter of Hari in a divine place, and he was chanting the holy names of the Lord of Hari very in a great manner without any offenses. Then he at last, by leaving the body, he chanted the holy names of the Lord, and he promoted to the Vaikuntha or Goloka planet. So that should be the mood, that should be the consciousness at the time of leaving the body. Because Yam 7th chapter they say, Krishna says in Gita, Yam vapi smaran bhavam tajantante kalevaram tam tam vete kotaya sadatad bhavita, sadatad bhava bhavita. So whatever the bhava, whatever the mood we have at the time of death, only that we will get. So same thing with Bharata Maharaj. He lost, when leaving the body, he was meditating on deer, so he took the birth of a deer, and after taking the deer, because of his pious deeds or because of his great devotional activities he has accumulated and earned in his previous life, he was able to put up in the place of ashramas. So the 70 persons, when they were going across the river, they saw this deer and they brought the deer to their ashram, and in the sadhus and saintly persons, they were always reciting Bhagavatam slokas, and they were always reciting the Vedic hymns. So by hearing that the Bhagavat slokas, Bhagavat Purana, the deer slowly, gradually was able to recollect all the devotion service she has done, and from that from that deer birth, she took the birth of Bharata Maharaj took the birth of Jada Bharata, the third birth. So Jada Bharata, he was very careful, and he never used to speak with anyone, though his brothers were put him in a very nasty condition, precarious condition, and nobody was caring him. They used to give him a broken plate, and they used to feed him the spoiled food, all those things. They were ill-treating him like anything, but still Jada Bharata was never reacted. So from around for 21 long years, he never reacted to anyone. So the Jada Bharata's brothers thought, this fellow is this stout fellow is very gigantic, and he is not fit for anything. Let us recruit this fellow to our to our garden, so that he can take care of the garden. So they recruited him as a servant, and he was taking care of the garden and other land properties. So when Jada Bharata he was looking so ugly, he never used to speak with anyone, because if I speak any sort of a thing in this material world, he will get trapped with that contamination. That is why he was very alert, very cautious, and he was very observed, and so he never spoke with anyone. So finally, when he met King Rahaguna. Rahaguna was traveling in a palanquin. So only 3 were there to carry that palanquin. So the king Rahaguna asked his other servants to bring some other guy who is very gigantic to hold this palanquin. Then they brought this Jada Bharata, and Jada Bharata took that palanquin, and he was carrying this king. And king was so much boasted of. He was puffed up because of his the topmost position, and he was royally leading the life. So then Jadabharata saw this, and Jadabharata was walking, carrying the palanquin, and he was walking in a zigzag manner because there were so many small creatures, ants and other insects were going, so he doesn't want to stamp them. So because he knows whatever the mistake if he does, again he has to take a birth. So that's why scriptures warns us and gives instructions to be not to hurt anyone, not to find fault with anyone. Because of that, we may lead to we may get caught in this birth and death cycle. So when Jadabharata when he was going in a zigzag way, it was very inconvenient to Rahaguna, the king Rahaguna, and Rahaguna started yelling like anything, shouting like anything, screaming like anything. You fool, you pig. He was without any sort of a consideration to human beings. He was yelling like anything. He was screaming in a very bad language. He was sarcastic, the Jadabharata. So then Jadabharata realized that. Then he opened the mouth, because if king himself is in such a abominable condition, then what is the plight, what is the condition of the subjects? So I should teach him a lesson. Then he opened the mouth and started instructing the whole second chapter of Bhagavad Gita and the Dharmic principles, and also the Bhagavatam first canto, last chapters of Bhishma Stuti, the teachings of Bhishma Dev to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and all these things. And he differentiated what is soul and what is body, and the nature of the soul and nature of the body, and how what is the king's position. King's position is Naradeva, because he is the representative of Lord. So all these things he were instructing, and Lord, the king Rahaguna was got spellbound. He was totally amazed, surprised, because of these instructions given by Jadabharata. He thought he was a very laziest fool, number one, idiot, number one. He thought he was having that feeling, but then he came to know, he came to senses that this particular person is not an ordinary man. He is a very great Acharya, he is a great Pandit, he knows all the Shastras and Vedas. And immediately he jumped from the palanquin and caught hold of the lotus feet of Jadabharata and begged a pardon from him. So he became a disciple of Jadabharata, and slowly Jadabharata made him a disciple and instructed and made him a very good Vaishnava. So to become a Vaishnava, he took 3 births. See, just analyze what is our condition. How many births we are going to take, we don't know. But if there are 2 things. Once we start chanting the holy names of the Lord as prescribed by Kalisantana Upanishad and so many other Puranas, and even Mahabharatam, last sloka says, Nama Sankirtana Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashatam. So the last sloka, the Palashruti of this Bhagavatam is to chant the holy names of the Lord, so that all our sinful activities will be contracted. So then Jadabharata finally went home. He promoted to the Vaikunta Loka. So why I am telling all this is the point is you should be very intelligent enough to lead this human form of life, because human form of life is it's not a joke, it's not humorous thing, it's very essential, it is very life and soul for us to get this life birth after revolving through so many species of life, we'll get this human birth. So we should be very, very careful. And next sloka says about the 19th sloka says that the Rishabhadev got 100 sons, and 9 sons were given in charge of this Bharata Varsha, and they were also in charge of the 9 verses of Jambudvipa, or the 9 verses of Jambudvipa. So the 9 verses of Jambudvipa are namely Bharata, Ilavrata, Kinnara, Hari, Kuru, Hiranmaya, Ramyaka, Ilavrata, Bhadrashva and Ketumala. These are the 9 Varshas, like Bharata Varsha. So among these 100 sons, 9 sons were given in charge of this Jambudvipa, and each one has given one Dvipa to rule over the kingdom, and the 81 sons become twice born Brahmanas and helped to initiate the Vedic path of fruitive activities, that is Karma Kanda. So these 81 sons has given the charge of spreading the Vedic path of sacrifice, Vedic path of fruitive sacrifices, that is Karma Kanda. So like this, Rishabhadev recruited these 100 sons. So 9 sons have become the rulers of 9 Varshas, that is Ilavrata, that is the 9 Varshas of Jambudvipa, that is Ilavrata, Bharata Varsha, Ilavrata, Kinnara, Hari, Kuru, Hiranmaya, like this, etc., etc., etc. And so the name of these 9 sons of Rishabhadev were Kavi, Havir, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Drumila, Chamasa and Karabhajana. So these 9 great fortunate sages who took this in charge of this 9 Varshas of Jambudvipa spread the Bhakti Yoga, or spread the Krishna consciousness very, very sincerely and seriously, and campaigned and preaching and started preaching the supremacy of the absolute truth. So the king of Videha, Nimi, the king of Videha, asked the following 9 questions of the 9 Yogendras, the saintly sons of Rishabhadev. So King Nimi, the king of Videha, started asking questions to the 9 Navayogendras. 9 questions. So Nimi asked 9 questions to Navayogendras. These questions are as follows. 1. What is the highest good? What are the religious principles? What are that is dharma, natural activities, swabhava, behavior, achara, speech, vakya, and outward symptoms, lakshana of Bhagavata, a Vaishnava devotee of the Lord. So 3rd is, what is the external energy of Vishnu, the Supreme Lord? 4th, how can one become dissociated from this Maya? And what is true identity of Brahman? What are the three types of karma? Namely, karma based on the enjoyment of fruits of work, karma affected to the Supreme Lord, and nice karma. Seventh, what are the various pastimes of various incarnations of God? And what is the aim or destination of one who is against Supreme Lord and devoid of bhakti, in other words, a non-devotee? Ninth, what are the respective colors, forms, and names of four Yogavatars, the four incarnations of the Supreme Lord who appear in the four ages, and what is the process of worshipping each of them? So, the transcendental answers to these inquiries were given by the great devotees Kavi Havir, Antarisha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Drumila, Chamasa, Karabhajana. The nine Paramhamsas answered the 9 questions, each in turn, in the following verses: 1. 233 to 43. Second, 245 to 55. 3. 3 to 316. 4. 3 to 18, 53rd chapter, 18 to 33 verse. 5th. So for all those 9 questions, answers are like this. For first question, second chapter 33 to 43 answer. Second question, second chapter 45 to 55. Third chapter 3 to 16, verse number 3 to 16. Fourth chapter third chapter 18 to 33. Like this, the answers are given. So these 9 questions were raised by King of Videha, the Nabi, to Navayogendras. Navayogendras gives the answer, and all those answers were mentioned in second chapter, third chapter, and fourth chapter, fifth chapter, sixth chapter, seventh chapter, eighth chapter, and ninth chapter. All these questions we are going to see in our further sessions. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.